I'm Rachel Tobin, editor-at-large for CityBiz. Welcome to our CityBiz audience. We're so excited today because we have with us Stacy DeRiso with Initiative. She's the CEO, the U.S. CEO. I'm excited to get your insights today about Initiative, one of the country's most influential media planning and buying companies. You and Initiative have been hitting it out of the park. Congratulations on being named Adweek's Media Executive of the Year and landing Constellation Brands, one of the country's largest alcoholic beverage producers, as a new client, and all of this in just the last month. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you, Rachel. You're making me blush.
That's great. So today we're going to talk about your journey as a leader, how Initiative is changing the media planning landscape, and what makes your company different. And finally, we're going to get your take on a potential recession and its impact on consumers. I'm looking forward to our conversation. So let's get started. First, I'd love to hear about your career journey and why you got into advertising. What are some of the milestones, highlights, and influences on your career? And how did you know you were the right leader for Initiative when the opportunity arose?
Well, there's a lot in that question.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think my journey in advertising, or with brands at least, started when I was young. It's funny. I remember my childhood bedroom having stickers of brands all over the walls. You know, brands like Esprit and Benetton, Swatch, Nike, who's one of our clients actually, plastered on my wall. And so I had this affinity for brands early on, and I did end up turning that into something. I studied marketing and public relations in college, and then I had a boss early in my career. I was working in a marketing department at a retailer at the time, and she said, if you want to do this advertising thing, you're going to have to go work at an advertising agency. And so she helped me get started, and I think the rest of my career follows a similar trajectory, which is having amazing bosses and mentors who've helped guide me and shape what I've always wanted to become. You know, I still have many of those friends and mentors today, which is wonderful. I ended up getting me into an advertising agency. Certainly wanted to take that to Madison Avenue. I come from Boston, so I knew the great advertising community there, but I thought I should work on Madison Avenue. If I'm going to do this thing, let's do it big time. And I came and I haven't looked back.
That's perfect. That leads me into the next question, which is you lead the largest market in the Initiative network with more than 1,200 employees and nearly $10 billion in annual billings in the United States. So what does Initiative do? If you're going to explain it to a fifth grader or a person on the street, tell me what Initiative really does.
So we are a media planning and buying agency. We work with some of the most amazing brands in the world, actually. We have the privilege of working with brands like Amazon, T-Mobile, Liberty Mutual, Nintendo, Nike, Lego, I could go on, Merck, AstraZeneca, incredible brands. And what we help them do, they have really aspirational and ambitious goals around driving their brand and people's affinity for that brand and driving growth for their business. And their media dollars are on the hook for driving that growth a lot of the time. And so what we help them do is figuring out how to invest that money. Who are the right audiences that they can go after? Who are the audiences that will drive growth for them? Who are the partners that we should work with and the channels and spaces we should be in as brands and businesses to engage with consumers and those audiences in the right way? And that's really what we do. And how do we use media creatively? You know, one of the things we don't think about media plans as just spots and dots, and that's kind of lingo in the business, I think. But we look at how do we use media to unlock engagement, impressions, assets, talent, experiences through media for our clients.
If I'm a consumer at home, how does this impact me, or what might I see that is a result of your work?
You probably have no idea that advertising is everywhere, or you probably do actually. But the commercials you see on TV, the spots you see more and more in your streaming platforms, right? A lot of those are ad supported now. In your TikTok feed, on your ride to the office or to a restaurant in your community, that's how you experience how we determine the right placement, the right spaces and places for consumers to see and engage with you.
Fantastic. I know you've had a lot of growth. Do you want to make a mention of the growth of your company?
God. I call it the initiative rocket ship. We have been on quite a journey. We've doubled in size in the past few years, and a lot of that, we're really proud of that, of course, right? A lot of that's driven by new business growth. We've had some amazing wins, but we've also grown a significant amount with our current clients, and I actually find that I have so much pride in that, because what that means is a couple of things. Our clients trust us, as their businesses are changing and growing, and better than even we do. The transformation journey that we're all under is significant, and as we're transforming and evolving with our clients, as their businesses are transforming and evolving, we're transforming and evolving with them. So really proud of that, and so our growth is equal parts, both of those things: new business and how we're growing with our current clients. We have 100% client retention rate in 2022. Says a lot about just the momentum we have, the growth we're experiencing, and how we're evolving.
You mentioned so many rich topics there. All of it, to me, makes it sound like you have a key differentiator. You are a very special and different media planning and buying company. So what are some of those elements that make you different?
What I will always say differentiates us is we've got the best talent in the business. It's our people, really, that our clients are buying. That's who they know and trust and lock arms with to go on these journeys toward their business goals. So I'd say that. I think as an initiative, though, our proposition and our product is a lot about two things, we call it. One, how are we helping brands drive and build fame for those brands and those businesses? And how are we taking their consumers on a journey with flow? So in thoughtful and intentional connecting with our consumers as they go through the journey with us. So two parts: fame and flow.
That is so interesting. And your talent, you mentioned, I'm certain that you, as all companies right now, are doing creative things to keep your talent, inspired and motivated and incentivized to stay working with you. So what are some of the things you do that set you apart in that as well?
There's a few things. I think, I talked about our growth because the numbers are what the bottom line says. But really what I'm more proud of is our people are happier than they've ever been. And we measure that through an NPS score. And I can talk about some of the things that are driving that. But our clients are happier than they've ever been too. And we also track our client satisfaction. We have these two things: people happier than they've ever been, clients happier than they've ever been. And I think that has a lot to do with this cycle and circle of growth. And so some of the things we're doing for our people specifically, few things. People's expectations of the workforce have changed significantly over the past few years, and that's accelerated through COVID, right? And so what we said early on when I joined 2021 was, what matters to people now? What do we have to do? How do the benefits need to look and feel different? How does their employee experience need to look and feel different? So we introduced a few things that I can talk about. One is what we call our culture ship, and that is a grant program. We give people $1,000 grant to help fund their passion that they have outside of work. So we have everything from hot sauce making to fragrance development, and we even have logos and bottling by our fragrance maker. People learning how to speak Spanish, teaching kids in other countries how to do photography. I mean, it's tennis lessons, marathon, weightlift. I mean, so many things, right? These are their passions, and we are funding them. We're so proud of that. That's one example. We also realize that in a hybrid world, how people learn and experience their career is different, right? So how do we make sure we're building empathy and training for people? And so we started a program we call Walk a Mile. How do I walk a mile in someone else's shoes? And that could be someone else on a different account than I work on. So I can work on Nintendo and learn from Arby's. I can work in a strategy team and want to learn what someone does on the planning or the analytics team, and we can walk a mile in each other's shoes. It's been game changing for us, for people getting to know each other, from people learning what we do more broadly outside of the bubble that they're in. And it's been a training ground. We also introduce us with clients. There's a lot we can learn from our clients and what they do. We walk a mile in their shoes, and there's a lot they can learn about what we do. And so they walk a mile in our shoes. And so that's been a really great program.
That's amazing. Culture ship, walk a mile, inspiring their own passions, which helps them stay passionate about their work with you and your brands. Okay, so let's talk about the brands you work with. You work with some of the most ambitious and most well known brands: Amazon, T-Mobile, Merck, to name just a few. We talked about Nike a minute ago. Why do you think these brands are coming to Initiative? And maybe tell us more about how you relate to your brands as a company.
One of the things we're doing with clients is pretty differentiated, and I think keeps our relationships and what I'll call partnership in a good zone is what we call our empathy charter. And that is about establishing mutual ways of working with each other, right? What's going to set us up for a successful partnership? How do you at X client, want to work with us, and how do we want to work with you? And we set the guardrails and the parameters for that in a way that makes a lot of sense. What are the meeting hours we'll have and those that we won't have? What are the days that we'll be in the office and we'll be live together that works for you and your family client? What are the ways that we can talk to each other in a way that's respectful and beneficial and collaborative for all of us? And so this empathy charter has established, I think, industry benchmark setting for new ways of being partners with each other. And, I think I love it as someone that comes from a client service background that knows and fosters a client-centric organization. Having strong partnerships is what it's all about.
That is so interesting. I feel like there's so many nuggets people can learn from in our conversation. Thank you. I have a couple more questions. Let's talk about the economy, because you are working, in an industry that people maybe think, oh, I need to cut back because the economy might be a little less stable. But I'd love to hear your take on that. Are we potentially going into a recession, or what does that potentially mean for advertisers? What do you tell advertisers in a time like today?
Our clients are under pressure in that situation, and so are their media dollars and their media budgets. And that affects some of our clients differently than others. The way we think about it, we actually issued earlier this year a recession-ready playbook, right? What are some best practices for how to think about how a recession can impact your business, how it can impact your marketing dollars, and what's our point of view on what to do with that? The reality is, we have studies that suggest and data that suggests that spending during those times actually can help strengthen brand and business momentum, but the realities of that can be different for different clients. What I would say is, to us, it's less about how much they're spending during this time and how they're spending it. How can we demonstrate the most effective and efficient use of dollars at a time when they're under different pressures than normal?
That's right. So what do you have had so many exciting announcements already this year, but what does the rest of this year look like for you for Initiative? What's on the horizon?
We're going to keep that rocket ship going. We're looking at onboarding some amazing, incredible new business seamlessly and smoothly. We are looking at, what's next for us in the new business space. And we're thinking about a few things culturally. Return to office more days a week. What does that mean? We're adding a third day come September. We're doing a lot around getting people in here and making sure they get a lot out of being here when they are. We're looking at launching a program called Connected Journeys, which is giving our people a chance to apply to go work anywhere else in the world, an initiative that they want for a period of time. And what else are we doing? Oh, and that culture ship that I mentioned, we are having a culture ship fair in our offices in December, kind of like a holiday way of helping these people sell their wares and get us all to support them beyond the grant.
Tell me the date and I'll be there. That sounds exciting.
We will. I actually just asked about that today. We'll let you know.
Stacy, thank you so much for your insights today. Where can people find you if they'd like to know more?
Thank you for having me. LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn.
Okay. So Stacy DeRiso on LinkedIn. And I think US Initiative is on LinkedIn as well. Is that right?
Sure. Initiative is on LinkedIn. We'll be posting about this, of course, and lots of other exciting stuff.
Okay, wonderful. Well, to the City Biz audience, we want to thank you. We hope you got a lot out of this conversation. I know I did. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.